This is my review of the Beach Boys album Smiley Smile. It was released in 1967, produced by the Beach Boys. So this album, actually, I got this for Christmas one year, and I got it's the CD too for with Wild Honey. It's the copy I have, and I got this with two other one of these like type of Beach Boys CDs. So I got a lot of Beach Boys albums at once that year, and this was definitely my least favorite of the twofers, just because of this album mainly at the time. Which my opinion of this album's definitely gone up, and I think a lot of it had to do with kind of, I don't know, reviews I had read of the album at the time and different things like that. But then when I actually started listening to it for what it was, later on I started to appreciate it. But it did take a while because I actually kind of got into the Smile Sessions album before this, which, so when this album, like after recording Pet Sounds and like when they started working on the follow-up for Pet Sounds, Brian Wilson was working on an album called Smile, which a lot of people know this stuff better than I do, so I'll probably make some mistakes, but he was working with a lyricist on this album named Van Dyke Parks, and they wrote some interesting songs together that I like. Smile, I guess a lot of people, it's kind of like this big like legendary lost album, which now I guess we could have the sessions, so like, or the Smile Sessions album, so we know what like sort of most of it sounded like, but not what it would have sounded like if it had come out then, I guess, because like it had a bunch of parts that Brian was like not sure how they were going to fit together or something. I don't know, it has like, it's kind of a complicated story, I guess, of the whole album and how like they were trying to make it, and it kind of like Mike Love didn't like some of it. He had problems with some of the lyrics and stuff because he's Mike Love, and eventually like Brian started having, you know, some of his mental problems, and so the whole album just kind of fell apart and they didn't make it, and they made Smiley Smile instead, which is kind of like a lot of the Smile songs but just really like stripped down, which Smile, and I'll eventually review the Smile Session, but I'm going to do it like chronologically when it came out, which probably doesn't make a lot of sense, but that's how I decided I was going to do it, so I'm going to do it that way. But yeah, it's that album is a lot like Pet Sounds, where it's the like the Wrecking Crew guys and girls, I guess, too, and like, you know, the really elaborate backing tracks and stuff like that Brian was making for the band to sing over, whereas this album is just like really stripped down instrumentation, kind of like, I guess it's like considered now kind of their lo-fi record, at least on most of the songs. It does have like two songs on it that kind of really don't fit in, but do kind of, I guess, fit the overall like vibe of the album, because I guess probably because they were written for the same project. But it's got like two tracks that are kind of in their Smile state. So the first song, Heroes and Villains, is one of the songs that I think this is like the single, or the single version, and so it sounds like the kind of like the Smile tracks with the really like elaborate production, and it's kind of a really weird song. I think like when it came out, people didn't really know what to think of it. I think Jimi Hendrix called it like psychedelic barbershop, which kind of fits, I guess. But I don't know. I really like the song though. I think it's interesting and pretty cool song, but definitely kind of weird. Which pretty much this whole album is really weird, and I guess that song is kind of one of the more normal songs, really. The second song, Vegetables, kind of really weird sounding. Like it's got all these weird sounds going on in the background. Like I'm pretty sure somebody like pours a glass of water at some point. There's like, I'm pretty sure like Paul McCartney's on here like chewing a carrot. Really weird song. Even the version of it on Smile was really weird. Like the one with more like production and stuff. That one I think I like a little bit better, which is kind of the case on this album. I usually like the Smile versions of the stuff better that they put on the Smile Sessions album, which I'm going to review at some point. I think I said that already, but yeah, I like this version though. it definitely took a while to grow on me, like a lot of this stuff on this album, just because I think of how kind of stripped down and weird sounding it is. The third song, Fall Break, I can't read my writing on that one, that's a weird title. Fall Breaks and Back to Winter. It's kind of this weird instrumental, kind of creepy sounding, I think. But it's not really one of my favorite tracks on the album. Don't really have a problem with it though, and I think it fits the overall flow of the album nice, which I think this album does kind of have a pretty nice like flow to it. The fourth song, She's Going Bald, I think it's a catchy song. It does get really weird in the middle. Has this part where their voices kind of sound chipmunky through like the effects they're using, which I think could probably annoy some people, but I like it. The fifth song, Little Pad, it kind of sounds like they're like really high at the beginning because they're all laughing, and it turns into this just kind of like relaxed song, and I like that one a lot. I think it's really just kind of nice, cool, chill song. Which this whole album overall is just kind of like that, to an extent. I mean, does have that one kind of creepy instrumental, but even that's not, that bad. It's kind of still a little relaxing, I guess. The sixth song, Good Vibrations. This is, I think, probably the most like out of place song on the album, other than maybe Heroes and Villains. I think most people probably know Good Vibrations. I definitely knew it before listening to this album, and I don't know, it's kind of a song that I guess for a long time kind of the idea of it kind of impressed me more than the actual song, like the story of like how it was made and how much it cost and all that and just how much work went into it, kind of like all of that always kind of impressed me more than the actual song. But that's kind of changed, honestly. Listening to it more and more, the more I listen to it, the more I actually do kind of get into it and like it and appreciate it for what it is. And I'm not sure why it's a song, because I know like a lot of people like really love it. It's one of their favorite Beach Boys songs, and it really never one of my favorite of theirs for a long time. And I'm not really sure why that is, but it's definitely one that's grown on me a lot more since then. But it's still kind of, I guess like Brian didn't really want it on this album, and I kind of see why. It kind of doesn't really fit in as well as some of the other tracks, but still definitely a good addition to have on any album, really. The seventh song, With Me Tonight, another kind of like nice chill song. It's just got kind of like this nice, like pretty lead vocal from Carl over some kind of like repetitive but nice backing vocals. So pretty good track, but it's like pretty short. There's a couple tracks on this album that are just pretty short and kind of go by really fast, but they're all like pretty good. The eighth song, Wind Chimes. This version I actually think is pretty cool. I still like the Smile Sessions version better of this song, but this one I think I'm starting to get into probably the most of like the versions of these stripped down Smile songs. The ninth song, Getting Hungry, always one that I've liked a lot. I think maybe my favorite song on the album. Just kind of, I really like the organ part. I think that's what it is, like a really cool. A lot of people, I don't know, a lot of like people might find it like annoying. Like I could definitely see that, because I think when I first listened to it, like I didn't like the sound of it. But definitely like the more I've listened to it, I really got into it, and I just think it's a catchy song also. So one that I like a lot. And then the 10th song, Wonderful. This one, another one of the definitely like really stripped down Smile tracks. This version of Wonderful on the Smile Sessions is like really one of my favorite songs on that album, and really one of my favorite Beach Boys songs. This version, kind of not so much. Like I don't really dislike it or anything, but it's just kind of, compared to that version, it's a little bit like disappointing, because it's just really weird. Like it's the vocals, like almost like whispered, which is kind of creepy. Like it's just really like soft and kind of creepy. Whereas the other version has like, I don't know, like all this harpsichord, which is probably why I like it, and it's just really cool sounding. So this version is probably, I think, like for me the weakest of the kind of redone Smile tracks. But it's still good. But just kind of weird. I don't know why Carl like whispered his vocal on this one. I'm not sure why they did that exactly. And then the 12th song and final track, Whistle In. Another nice kind of short song. Nice way to end the album. Overall, Smiley Smile. Honestly, I think I'm going to give this album a 5 out of 5, and it's crazy because I used to never really like this album that much, like for years, and I've slowly just listened to it more and more and given it like more and more of a chance, and I think really I found the more I listen to it, the more it just kind of flows into this nice, like, chill album, even though it's kind of weird and a little bit, I don't know, just kind of a weird stripped down album, but it's definitely pretty good, and if you're into like the lo-fi stuff, it's definitely one you should check out.